Hello, everyone. As you can see, my name is Ken Piga, and I will be talking about my analytical autobiography. So, for my heritage, well, my family is from the island of Antigua Barbuda. As you can see in the two bottom pictures, this is what the island looks like. Uh, we are an African American family. Although I do have a father, I was raised by my mother, and I also have three siblings, one brother, one sister, and a half brother from another mother. The only language that me and my family speak from both sides is English. My physical development. So, um, in terms of that, I'd say I grew physically very slowly. I started puberty at about 11 or 12 in the normal sense, but I never really had a huge growth spurt. It took a long time for me to grow to the height of 5'5", and I'm still, out of all my high school friends, I'm still the shortest male that they know in that sense. My voice didn't reach the deep and tone that it is right now until I turned about 16 or 17. And I didn't start going to facial hair that I barely have now until last year. So it was just very difficult for me to see my friends who had facial hair at like 10. I felt like I wasn't doing something right. But then that brings me to my cognitive development where I was able to complete tasks at a faster rate. And I realized I had the brain and the mental capability to be a great mathematics student. I was solving problems very quickly, decisively. I made great decisions. I started to think abstractly, and I started to see people's views better. Like I sat down, I was like, let me take it down to see how this person feels versus how I feel. I tried to see people's views more in the sense. And during my growing up, I was never really a fan of reading or writing, which is probably why I'm so drawn to math at this point in my life. It's very interesting when I look back at it. When I talk about my social emotional development, I look back at all the things I've done in my childhood and early adolescence. I was very casual with everybody because I never really had any enemies, nor did I have a lot of friends. I just spoke with everybody. Nobody ever had a problem with me. I was very kind, patient, understanding. People trusted me with different opinions and things they needed to talk about. I was never really a good at hiding my emotions. Like everybody knew what I had. They used to say I wore my emotions on my sleeve. And my friends say I'm the only person they know who can actually frown, which used to make me laugh because I didn't know I could frown either. I consider myself both an introvert and an extrovert because I like being secluded and to myself and inside, but at the same time, I wouldn't mind going outside and hanging out but I wouldn't do a big party. I'm not really a big party kind of person. That's why I consider myself both. I don't really mind either or scenario. And when it comes to interacting with my neighbors or people I don't really consider friends or close acquaintances, I don't really interact with them at all. Like I'll see them, they say hi, I will respond because it's a nice thing to do. But otherwise than that, I don't really communicate with my neighbors or people I don't necessarily see on a regular basis. Then that brings me to some of my school experiences and role models. Uh, One memory that always sticks back to me when I think about middle school and stuff like that is the trip I took to Gettysburg Memorial in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The reason why the trip was so interesting to me because it was something that I got to do as a middle schooler that was a high school trip because my school was middle school, high school. Yeah, I got to take this trip with the high schoolers, and it really made me so excited because I was happy to see that the school actually thought of my class as being old enough and mature enough to take that kind of trip. And going to see the site actually touched me to see how many people died there and all the different battle scars that were still there to this day. It was very interesting and informative, and I'll never forget that trip. Another thing was that I was on the seventh grade basketball team. Honestly, I don't really remember much from that time because at my school we didn't really compete against other people. We say we had a basketball team, but we would just verse each other the entire time and then work out the rest of the time. So let's just say we had a basketball community instead of a basketball team. Lastly, when I think about my role models, there's my science teacher, Miss Armstrong. She taught me biology and the regular sciences. She she's one of the people who shaped me to be who I am today because she kept me focused. She made me understand that I'm not gonna get anything I want in life if I don't put in the work and if I don't drive myself to. And that's what really made me such a hard worker today and driven to complete tasks. And my basketball coach is the person who taught me discipline in the sense because he used to make us do these things called discipline push-ups where we'd hold the push-up position until he would say discipline and we would do the push-up while saying discipline. He taught me how to respect those who are older than me or who are in charge. And it's one of the reasons why people who I interact with who are older than me say I'm very respectable and very um determined and dedicated because I learned that if you're gonna work for somebody or interact with people who are older than you, they like it when you show that you are respectful, and that's just the kind of person I've become today. Lastly, we're gonna go into the things that shaped who I am outside of school, which would be my aunt Steph. Well, one of the things. My aunt Steph took a great toll on me. She was somebody who was in my life since I was born, and she's somebody who I depended on a lot because not only was she my aunt, but she also worked at the school I went to. And whenever I needed something, I was able to go to her and talk to her about things. It was so it was so nice having somebody there who I could talk to about anything, any and everything. And I miss that. Genuinely, I really do miss that. And the day that she died, actually, I was very sad. I took times out of my day to go visit her in a nursing home and all that good stuff. And seeing somebody like that who I cared about a lot and who helped me get through a lot of things in middle school and high school was very sad. Then I think about my disease that I've had from birth, which is first Crohn's disease, which is when your colon or your large intestine fails and they have to take it out at birth. So from since I was born to where I am now, I do not live with a large intestine, and that has significantly changed the way how I have to operate in my everyday life. I don't eat things like milk and cheese, chocolate ice cream, stuff like that because of this. And those things, I don't get the certain vitamins that everybody else does, which has decreased my stature, not significantly, but enough so that I'm shorter than most people. So when I think back at that, it's actually a blessing and a curse. But I digress at this point now. And then there's my religion. My family, being Seventh Day Adventist Christians, have always had this great belief in God and that God can and will do whatever He thinks is best for us. I do share that mindset, but I don't believe in the complete truth that everything is just you're just supposed to sit down and just believe that God will fix everything. I feel like you need to put in some type of work and initiative for yourself in order for some things to happen. So while I still do believe in the religion itself, I still believe in taking things into my hands. But without that religion, I don't think I'd be where I am today because it's through my pastor, elders, and stuff like that why I've been able to mature and blossom into the person I am today. And different church leaders, they helped me unlock new abilities in myself. Before before I started doing the communications department at my church, I never knew I had such a gift with technology and sound hearing. And now that I'm doing it, it's a love that I never thought I would have, and it's something I don't want to give up. And I would have never learned that if it wasn't from religion. I thank them too. That brings me to the end of my analytical autobiography present. Thank you.